We've tried to do this through legislation, through litigation. It has not worked. Nothing is done. What the march does, it's a visible way of making communities and the public aware that this is going on in New York State, that this is what's happening when every time they sit down or they go to Wegmans or they sit down, they have a turkey dinner, somebody is responsible for putting that food on the table, and these are the conditions. It's a way of not only awakening the public to this, but to embarrass the legislators. I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves that in this day and age, they're not taking a responsible stance to the conditions that exist in New York State. They're allowing child labor to continue. They're allowing people to be poisoned to death with pesticides. They're allowing slavery, the new form of slavery, to exist in New York State, and they're not doing a damn thing about it. And they got to be held accountable. They're elected. So they need to be held accountable for the conditions, and that's what this march is doing. And it's going to awaken, I hope, along the way, people are going to raise questions and ask questions, and that the people will be aware of what's going on, and pressure will be put on these legislators to do something about it.
Sí, antes quiero decir que esto es una marcha por igualdad, ¿verdad? Igualdad de condiciones, igualdad en las leyes laborales, que es triste de que en un país como este, ¿verdad?, tan poderoso y donde la democracia es fuerte, todavía existan trabajadores que no se traten con igualdad en la ley. Entonces eso está afectando, quebrando los compromisos democráticos del país.
In comparison to the rest of the world, farm workers probably have less rights under New York state law than other states. And it's amazing that we're in the 21st century and farm workers do not have a day of rest. Most workers are not covered by unemployment insurance, or those that are covered, it's a different formulation for them to be covered. Workers aren't entitled to overtime pay. They're not allowed to engage in collective bargaining, which other workers in the state have had and enjoyed for years.
A mi esposa no hubo quien se preocupara por ella. Ella tuvo 2 meses incapacitada, perdió su dedo, y el patrón nunca se dignó a decir cómo sigue tu esposa o cómo sigue, señora, de su herida. Jamás. Se nos ve solamente como herramientas de trabajo y no como personas que producimos en este país. Yo considero que en este país todos los trabajadores, aunque muchos son indocumentados, no tienen sus documentos legales, pero no son delincuentes. El único delito, si es un delito ser pobre, es el único delito que están cometiendo, ser pobres y venir a este país a trabajar honradamente.
Y en cuanto al día de descanso, pues tenemos un grupo de trabajadores en Monticello que trabajan en la granja de patos, que ellos no tienen día de descanso, ellos trabajan todos los días, y no le dan un descanso, y muchos de ellos se están enfermando, y a veces cuando quieren algún día ¿verdad?, para descansar o para hacer sus necesidades personales, pues no tienen nunca esa oportunidad porque el trabajo no se lo permite. Y yo creo que eso está afectando mucho a ellos, emocionalmente, físicamente y en varias formas, ¿no?
I know it's only money, but the overtime, as many hours my husband works, the overtime could make a difference in how easy it is to buy the school clothes and get the school supplies, and so that they could go to school. And I mean, they're still going to go to school and get a good education with their hard work, but it'd make it easier if the supplies weren't so hard to come by and the clothes weren't so, I mean, buying groceries wouldn't be a struggle, and it would take off the simple stuff everybody else has is not as hard to come by. Wouldn't be so hard for us if we had that right to overtime.
Yo pienso la importancia de organizarnos colectivamente, eso yo pienso que nos da mucho poder a los trabajadores agrícolas, porque cuando estamos organizados colectivamente tenemos más poder para poderle pedir al patrón cambios en las fincas. Si no estamos organizados colectivamente, el patrón inmediatamente nos despide. Si vamos y le decimos, ¿sabe qué? Necesitamos un aumento salarial. Si voy yo solo, la palabra de él es, ¿sabes qué? Si no te parece el salario que te estoy pagando, inmediatamente desocupas el lugar que estás ocupando y te vas. Pero si estamos organizados colectivamente y tenemos el apoyo de estar organizados colectivamente, y podemos ir a pedirle y él no nos va a poder correr.
I think the law has to change. The law has to pay more attention in farm workers and see how they are working, and at least give them the main rights that they deserve, like overtime, day of rest, collect bargain, disability insurance, nothing like that. And every year people is doing a march to try to speak with people in the government who are representing us, and nothing happened. I don't see any change.
That these exclusions offend all of us.
Esto ya no es una lucha solamente de los trabajadores agrícolas.
This is not just a struggle of the agriculture.
There should not be one single legislator in New York State that does not understand and work for equal rights for farm workers for what they deserve. So what you are asking for, the things that you are asking for, we have had in California for 40 years. For 40 years. I know that you're going to be successful and triumphant, but we also know that we're not going to get anything without doing an awful lot of work. So we have to go back to all of the little towns that you went through. We have to go back to each one of those towns. We have to ask the people in those communities to please support us by writing letters to the legislators, by writing letters to them and telling them that they've got to give the farm workers equal rights, or we will work against them.
I think that this group of individuals, they are fighting very, very hard to ensure that justice prevails in their case. They are not asking for any preferential treatment at all. They are just asking as workers to be treated in the same manner in which other workers in the state of New York are treated. So I think that this is a very adequate way to express their problem, and it's an adequate way to move the conscience of all the legislators here. So I applaud it, and I think it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, the only thing I can say to you is that you have to understand something. You don't understand the fact that we don't want you people not to be able to work. I have supported all sorts of things, but I want to tell you something. More people have lost their jobs in this state because of good feelings.
I have a question. How would you lose your job if you got overtime pay?
Because if you get, why in God's name would they bother to spend all the money they do to bring people here to work in New York, is what they do. If they pay everybody the same, why would they do that? I mean, the reason you're able to do this is because you're good workers and you are willing to work for less.
And I didn't know how to react. It was just like a shock that this important person was telling a 16-year-old kid that I want to work for less, my dad wants to work for less. And go to school here and how great America is, and then turn around and the justice system is telling you that you're worthless.
I'm having fun right now, but I have a problem. It's a big problem, as you can see. I'm only 16 years old, and
No es nada fácil, pero lo hace uno con... Más que nada, yo pienso que es el amor es el amor a los trabajadores que están sufriendo injusticia. Aunque en ellos se cuente uno mismo se cuenta en ello y pues aquí estamos en la lucha. No es fácil, porque como tú miras, vamos muy poquitos, muy pocos, pero sí se puede. Con tiempo, haciendo arreglos con tiempo, sí se puede.